It's Australia versus Pakistan. It's the Boxing Day Test match. So Pakistan wins the toss. They elect to bat at the MCG, which is not looking like a typical MCG pitch, as a lot of popular experts said. At the same time, I am expecting Pakistan to actually come in and bowl extremely well, bowl some rippers, bowl some jaffers, but at the same time, I know for the fact that they're going to drop some catches. And looking at this Pakistan team, I think the problem is I don't know if it's the experience or the skill, right? Because they have both in good measures, not wouldn't say the best, but in good measures, but just something's not working for Pakistan. Like they are such a great team, such great talent, but it's just not all coming together for them, right? But I am expecting to see good competition among, these two teams. So, and that's exactly what happened in this test, right? And they're coming back, after a very collapsing last, a very collapsing defeat from the first test. And they should be hoping for some sort of a miracle at the Grand MCG. And the last time they played a test at MCG in 2016, they lost by an innings and 18 runs. And but they did get 443 in their first innings, where Azhar Ali scored a double century. Hopefully, they bring back some of that grit to this test. The Australians look mighty. Warner is on his farewell tour, and he's going to do his best. He's going to give his best to his team, and he clocked 164 in his last test, so he's already in a very winning and tonking mindset. Manas is not looking the best. He has a 35 test average. Alex Carey is back in the side, and I hope that the best of him, we get to see the best of him now at least, because I think that he lost his mojo after that Ashes match and that whole incident against Bairstow. Not just against Bairstow, it was against the entire country where they bullied him, traumatized him on social media, and I guess he hasn't recovered, but he did hit a century last year at the MCG, I think, and he needs to get back to that zone. And I hopefully he gets back into that zone and we get to see some miracle innings in this series. So nothing so far, but who knows? And finally, Scott Boland isn't getting a break at home because the side is looking as stable as possible. And lo and behold, like I expected, it's exactly what happened. Shafiq drops Warner at two, and it was a beautiful delivery from Shaheen, but gone. It's Warner's last test at the MCG. We were expecting him to go big. Khwaja has a lot to play for, and after the shitty affair with the shoes, and just he just wanted to make a statement for peace and in support with what's happening in Palestine. But I think it was just absolutely stupid from the ICC. Anyway, so he has a lot to play for in that case. So eventually, just before the stroke of lunch, Warner was gone only for 7:38. Salman gets him on his first ball. Off his second over, it was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous shot, and Baba doesn't miss. Pakistan is happy taking out, Australia's favorite player. Uh, Maybe that's a bit of an overstatement, but one of Australia's favorite player. Let's put it that way. Khwaja follows after lunch, trying to late cut, but I think the ball was just too quick for him, and he didn't consider the slip position. And Hassan did it with, his wobble ball, which is now becoming more of a stock ball for most of these bowlers. In fact, I even saw Pat Cummins, talk about the wobble ball on Australia's Instagram account, and that makes this Hassan Ali's wicket like completely a well-deserved one. Smith goes in the 58th over with just around 10 overs to go for the stumps. It was a successful review from Jamal, and with no help from Rizwan, who's generally the first one to plead for review. Like he could have stuck a little longer, and things would have probably been different the next day. It was a successful review from Jamal. Generally, Rizwan is the one pleading for review. This time we didn't see him do that, but somehow, Pakistan get this in their favor. And Smith always looks surprised whenever he goes for the review, as if the whole DRS system is against him. I mean, he is my favorite player, but it is really funny how his expression just changes whenever he sees a DRS decision. But anyway, there was a whole debate, like, the Snicko and the hotspot, and it just like, they wasn't giving away. I think the hotspot, was not giving anything, but they confirmed it. After the rain, the whole thing was a snooze fest. Pakistan bowlers, were just really bad. Were just really bad, and bowling has always been their strength, and they were not they were just not able to crack the code that day. Even Afridi was struggling. He wasn't at his best. Apparently, he's not at his best in terms of fitness, and he was bowling a few dollies. And at the same time, the surface had nothing much to offer as well. So cannot blame the Pakistan bowlers entirely. But who cares? Everybody was chilling. It was the day after Christmas. Everybody would just wanted to relax, have a fun, or just have a lazy test game, and that's exactly what they got. Apart from the day's play, uh, it was about 60,000 people tipping the hat for the legend Shane Warne. These moments just make you feel things, and the whole stadium's vibe was a sight to behold. As in, I think the approximate was 63 to 64,000 people, and they all had their hats. I'm guessing most of the viewers sitting in front of the TVs had their hats on too, and they did it, and it was just beautiful. And we definitely miss Shane Warne, not just on the field, but even when he's in the commentary box, he was just wonderful. So thanks a lot, Warning. That's it. Marnus and uh, head start, really well until Salman just takes a ripper in the second slip. Shaheen deserved that one. Labuschagne gets a 50, so that's good. His average was pretty bad so far, but he does really well coming into a test, with that, I think 35 average. I think 50 was a good innings. Marsh did survive twice, two LBWs, and there was something, but Pakistan tails were up. They were really up for a fight at this point. Soon, Rizwan takes a fantastic catch to dismiss Carey. He continues that poor form, and the catch makes you think, why would you leave Riz out of the team on a test like this? Going to records, Stark gets 2000 test runs. 2000 test runs. From here on, it was just about pushing that scoreboard, and Australia were just gunning for 300 plus scores, and they did. It's turning out to be a slightly decent match. And then Pakistan coming to bat. The batters started really well. The openers started really well. They managed to stay on for like 15 overs. I was hoping that it would get better, slow, but I thought like they could build innings, later on. Nathan Lyon takes out Imamul Haq with just a beautiful turner. After the break, Pakistan looked really good with Shafiq and Masood. The only person I saw slam Nathan Lyon, straight up for a six above the bowler's head was Rishabh Pant, sometime in 2019 and 20. But Shan Masood is probably the second guy, and he was just taking all the chances that Nathan Lyon had to offer. So Shan and Shafiq's partnership was just golden. This was like Abdullah Shafiq and Shan. I think their batting momentum kind of matches. The only third person I could see who's a bit of a wild card can actually fit into this triad, I could say, of batting would be Rizwan. Could be a little bit of a wild slogger. Shan is very aggressive. Shafiq can be very technical and just beautiful stroke play. Pakistan is, winning this day. Like day three was theirs, and sorry, I mean day two was theirs, and you would hope that this could be a different Boxing Day Test match, than what we expected at the beginning of this match. Before coming into bat, like Pakistan just bowled out the last seven very cheaply. They were also, in a bit of a very generous holiday spirit in their bowling. Apart from giving them gifts at their practice nets, they also gave away 52 extras. 52 extras. That's just That's just horrendous. But now Captain Shan Masood and opener Abdullah Shafiq were just neutering that entire pace attack. They were just making up for all the mistakes that they caused when they were bowling. And the partnership was building up to 90, and the score is what, about 124 for one. Nearly 45,000 people are enjoying the test cricket, and you don't get to see this level of Pakistan batting on a daily basis. But they were looking really good. They were looking relatively comfortable in this test match. And then Pat Cummins. I think Pat Cummins is just like one of the best bowlers in the world right now, because every time he comes on, he just gets a wicket, and he does the exactly what the world expects him to do. He comes in, pitches one up, it's moving in, and Abdullah Shafiq pushes, with a little bit of uncertainty, and Cummins just bends low in one beautiful motion and just takes a catch. And I mean, a fast bowler or a seam bowler coming in with that kind of a run up and a momentum, and then just catching it right, through his, in his follow through. I think that's just, it's just world class. Shan Masood's dismissal seemed completely careless at first. When you played such a conscious innings, you were looking really good. We expect, when you're playing such a conscious inning as a captain, especially, and you're doing really good, you would want to stay on a little longer. But I did realize that he's a kind of a batter who probably would lean more towards the whole baseball-esque kind of innings. And I guess that's what happened. And, Shan Masood lost his wicket. I really wished he stayed on for a little longer. Um, then Babar, the dying star, I guess, he's unable to perform. It seems to be in some sort of a really bad loop of bad performances. Hazelwood just, you know, does an absolute beauty and removes Saud Shakil. And it's just like a beautiful good length ball, nips between bat and pad, and just takes off the off stump. Cannot get better than that. It's just cricket and poetry both together in front of your cameras. Like, especially watch it in slow motion. I wish I could show all of these, but I know I'll be struck for copyrights. But just watch it in slow motion. That Babar Azam delivery is just was just fantastic. Anyway, Cummins comes back, while Salman was on fire, and then he takes him off very easily. And then at this time, it looked like Pakistan would crash. But then Rizwan comes in, and he hits Cummins for a six. 194 for six, at stumps. They're trailing by 124 runs at the end of day two. Not a bad effort, actually, to say, as in more than like around half day, maybe a little over half day. And Pakistan actually played really well. I wish if Babar Azam had stayed a little longer, things would have been very different, and also the team would have been a little more confident. Finally, we have to note that Cummins, plays a captain's knock, not a knock. He does it with the bowl, so I guess a captain's bowl. I don't know. Like for example, that Babar Azam's wicket, Hazelwood just absolutely kills it with a beautiful delivery that he dismissed Saud Shakil with. It's a beautiful good length ball, nips between bat and pad, and it just climbs off the off stump. If you can go back and watch a replay of this in slow motion, please do, because it's just cricket and poetry both put together. Finally, Pat Cummins again plays a captain's role or a captain's knock. I don't know what would you call that if he's doing that with the ball. And what do you want me to say? Like, he takes all the big wickets. He even comes, whenever he comes in, he dismisses somebody. Like that whole Babar Azam's wicket set off around 45 to 50,000 Australian fans, and the whole stadium just roared. And Cummins completely just, no pun intended, but he just stumped Babar Azam, because I could see that Babar Azam was looking behind and looking in the front and thinking, ये delivery, he said something in Hindi, इस ball पे मैं कैसे out हो गया? Meaning that, like, how did I get knocked off on this ball? And it's just beautiful. His head, his front knee remained bent in that position when he played that stroke, and he was murmuring these words. He started to walk off, to the dressing room. He took one look at the batting partner, Shan Masood, who shook his head also in disbelief. Babar said nothing, and he turned to the scoreboard and the screen for a glimpse of what exactly happened, and then probably he understood what just happened. Pat Cummins really makes you think about being an absolute beast of a bowler. He's a total workhorse. I've said this again and again. That ball was again seemed like a wobble ball. The wobbling seam ball hit the pitch, and it jagged sharply past Babar's inside edge, and then just clipped off the off stump, and Babar just walked off in disbelief. So that's that. Like, you have to appreciate Pat Cummins for all his technical ability. In fact, Pat Cummins also said something about that, right after the day's play. It's a dream ball. He says it's a dream ball. It's what you try most ball, but it rarely comes off. And that wasn't a deliberate ball to seam. That's a 50-50, that it's going to seam in or out. Try and create a bit of an angle. And if I don't know what it's doing, hopefully the batter doesn't know either. And clearly, Baba didn't know what was happening. He faced 40 balls of Cummins in the series, and so far, he's been dismissed twice for just 15 runs. And that's the end of day two. And in day three, Pakistan innings, it's just like, I think Michael Vaughan said this, and this is what I believe, not just me. Like, I think every Pakistan or every cricket fan actually knows what happens in Pakistan. Like, Pakistan can be the only team that can go from being genius and complete dog shit in just a couple of hours, and that's exactly what happened. And that's how I would just summarize their cricket. Like, seriously, what the hell happened today? um Pakistan starts at, like, what, 194 for 6 with 124 runs behind. Pakistan came in, and they lost 4 wickets before lunch. There's nothing lustrous about their innings. I was expecting Rizwan to hit a few, but it's always a hit and miss with this guy. But that was, a lightning fast reaction by Warner. So all credit to Warner. Pakistan starts at 194 for 6 with 126 runs behind. And Pakistan came in, and they just lost 4 wickets just before lunch. And there was nothing lustrous about their innings. I was expecting Rizwan to hit a few more and actually stay on a little longer, but something about this guy is just, that's what makes it, I think, kind of troubles both oppositions and the audience at the same time, that this guy is capable of anything. Like, he can give you like a most brilliant innings, at the same time he can just be dog shit and, like, completely, go off the rails and not do anything. However, um that dismissal of Rizwan, where Warner caught one, uh I guess you can't expect anything less from Warner. Even in his farewell tour, he's actually taking such catches. His reaction time was lightning fast. But that's it. Like, Pat Cummins gets a fifer after this, establish himself as the captain extraordinaire. Cummins picks up 10th 5 wicket haul in Test with a absolute beauty, a back of the length ball, jags back insanely off the deck, and Hassan is trying to track the late movement, but ends up leaving a big gap, and ball just sneaks in through the gate and rattles the stumps, and that was it. And an incredible delivery again, for to dismiss Mir Hamza, but again, at the same time, he's a tail ender. What can you expect? And then finally, Australia come into bat. Um, Australia come into bat. This is the genius part about Pakistan. When they showed up to bowl to Australia, in the second innings, they proved if they can go from genius to dog shit, they can also go from dog shit to genius again. And that's exactly what happened. The opening bowlers got Khwaja, Warner, Head, and Labuschagne for just like 10 runs among them. Shaheen Shah Afridi, of course, played a huge role. He's the ace bowler. And Mir Hamza this time, who was only playing his like third or fourth international test. Um, Now I think Harsha Bhogle or someone wrote this on Twitter, like a Pakistani left armor hitting the stumps back to back deliveries. Mir Hamza was doing a 1992 Wasim Akram at the MCG, and why not? This was genuine swing bowling. This is what I was talking about in my last, when I was covering the last day. That they're known for their bowling, and now it finally shows that they can actually, you know, cause some real damage with their bowling. At this point, they believed that they were going to win. We think that they are going to win. Mir Hamza just lit up Pakistan's hope. Australia is struggling. They're at 16 for 4. This was genuine swing bowling. This is what I was talking about, when I was covering the last day. Um, Pakistan is known for their bowling, and now it finally shows. At this point, they believed that they were going to win. We were thinking that they're going to win because Mir Hamza just lit up Pakistan's hopes. Australia is struggling at this point for just 16 and losing 4 wickets. A double maiden wicket by Mir Hamza at the MCG. That is something for the history books. He rattled the stumps twice. Shafiq dropped Mitch Marsh. And the camera, the world, everybody was just focused. And that again changed the game. I think they were just guilt tripping that guy. I felt really bad because the camera wouldn't just let him go. They were just stuck on this guy for a very, very long time. They were literally crucifying him. It's the second time in this match. The first time he drops, David Warner, at the slips. And it just feels like, when the bowlers are working so hard to get wickets, especially on wickets like these, on pitches like these, and it's just hard for the entire team. And you could see that the team was completely shaken. The commentary was just blowing up, and I guess Australians were happy about it. So coming to Mitchell Marsh, and it just pains. Although he got a life, he still got out at 96, which, I mean, it was a great 96. It's as good as a century for me when you're like 4 runs short, but history books or record books won't allow that. But he always plays such brutish innings, such aggressive innings, and he's truly the bison of their team, as they nickname him. And he was whacking every bowler. Like, there was nothing stopping him. He looked absolutely, absolutely confident. I knew he was going to get 100 or maybe even 150 easily. There was one statistic that they were showing, not a statistic, more like a graphic or analysis of his bat swing. It looked absolutely powerful. I wish I had taken that screenshot. But anyway, apart from that, Smith batted, his way to 50 somehow, was cheated by Shaheen's bouncer. I remember, I think Wasim Akram was talking about fast bowlers trying to get good length, and Shaheen Smith batted his way to 50. He was cheated by Shaheen Shah Afridi's bouncer. In fact, I was listening to the commentary, and Wasim Akram was talking about how fast bowlers trying to find good length, with a really good bounce could actually get Steve Smith out in this condition and with that field setup. And that's exactly what happened, in the very next ball. And That was fantastic. Like these moments, you just love it when the commentators or some experts predict what was going to happen the next ball. And when it happens, you're like, wow, that is something. It's day 4. Australia are at 187 for 6. Alex Carey, the world was waiting for this bloke to perform, and it's been downhill since the Ashes. We discussed this a lot. Cummins' dismissal was an interesting one. I later saw a clip where umpire was talking about how the sound and the audio and the video can have a little bit of a delay. Basically, what happened was when They referred this to the third empire. You could see a little spike on the ultra edge, but the sound was coming in a little later on. I think that's what the umpire was explaining, saying that hey, there could be a little bit of delay, but whatever. Anyway, finally Alex Carey gets his 50. Good job. We do need 100 from you very soon. Pakistan needed 316 runs and they were looking very hopeful. Openers stayed a little longer, like they probably planned and like we were all hoping. But the Aussie bowlers did keep them on toes. At one point, we thought that Shan Masood would just wrap it up. He was looking so good and was probably going to make 100, is what we all thought. And he looked confident, he looked aggressive, and a very baseball-esque kind of innings. He played the same way in the first innings, and this time, we were expecting him to actually go on that momentum and finish the match. But unfortunately, that didn't happen, and he just I wish he'd stayed on a little longer. Like, I get it that you want to play aggressively, you're the captain, could have taken a little bit more responsibility because Pakistan were really wishing for a win. It just kind of sucks. And every time Pakistan was looking like they were progressing towards a win, Cummins would bring himself in and would take a wicket. Hazelwood had a Jaffa for Babar Azam that dismissed him. Pakistan at this point looked like they were going to lose, and it seemed and after some time, sorry, Pakistan at this point looked like they were going to lose, and then it seemed like they were going to win. This was just not a good match for all the fans. Like, it was just up and down, win or lose, win or lose. Salman and Rizwan looked really determined to win. They brought the score down to below 100. At this point, we thought, like, yes, they will take this home. But then a DRS disaster struck, and this time Pakistan and Rizwan's wristband came in the way, and it was given out. It just nicked off his wristband. Like, there was a slight little snicko thing that we saw. Surprisingly, Usman Khwaja was not sledging him. He just made a remark saying it hit the wristband, champ, and and that was the end of the fight for Pakistan. I guess with Rizwan's dismissal, it seemed like everything was over. I wish someone played an innings like Pat Cummins played during the Ashes. That's how you play. I feel that's how you actually play a tail enders innings. You just stay there stubbornly, not giving any room to anybody. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Cummins gets a back-to-back fifer. Stark closes it off, with the final wicket where Steve Smith takes a brilliant catch, and that's that. You know, just like I said at the beginning of this video, we were all expecting Pakistan to lose 3-0, but also we were expecting a fight from them. And that's exactly what happened. We did see a beautiful fight from Pakistan, but at the same time, they lost. Very sad. I really wished that Pakistan would have surprised Australia and the rest of the world. I think they're just getting a little too chummy with Australians and giving away those 50 odd extras, as a part of their Christmas package. So I hope they really get their act together for the next test. I think it's going to be an exciting one. It's the last one. It would be good if they win this because they would at least go with a very decent 2-1 defeat. But at the same time, Warner is retiring with this match. He would expect to get like some sort of a big score. So see you on, or see you in the new year, and for test 3 between Pakistan and Australia. Cheers.